Welcome to the Champs App podcast. Champs App is your recruiting and development copilot. If you are a player, parent, or coach, make sure to check out more content and tools to help navigate the world of youth hockey at champs.app. Also, if you've listened to the Champs App podcast in the past and it has helped you with your recruiting or hockey development, please tell your teammates and friends about Champs App. It would be even better if you subscribe to the podcast and review or rate us on whichever platform you're listening to or watching us on. On today's episode, I talk with Lee-J Mirasolo, head coach of the Stonehill Skyhawks. Lee-J gives us an update on the Stonehill women's hockey program and her expectations for the upcoming season. We also discuss how the New Hawk Conference can be more competitive with the other Division I teams and her thoughts on the current recruiting dynamics. This was a great conversation with Lee-J, so I hope you enjoy it. Ready to see how you stack up against future Division I players? Champs EyeQ gives you an unbiased look at your potential. Just submit at least 10 minutes of your edited shifts, and our expert scouts will provide an objective, data-driven analysis of your game. We'll evaluate you on more than 15 skills, giving you both an overall rating and a clear trajectory for your Division I potential. You'll know exactly where you stand and what you need to do to improve. Learn more at www.champs.app. I'm delighted to welcome back to the podcast Lee-J Mirasolo, head coach of the Stonehill Skyhawks women's hockey program. Now entering her third season as the head coach, she is here to give us an update on the program and chat about what's going on with the current recruiting cycle. Great to see you, Lee-J. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me, Ray.
All right. So for folks who don't know, you've been on the podcast before with another school. And a couple of years ago, you began as a head coach at Stonehill. So we've also talked with Tara Watchhorn when she helped start up the program twice about starting the Stonehill program. So if folks want to know more about your background, they can go and find that episode. And if they want to know more about the startup of Stonehill College, they can go check out that episode. But maybe just talk about how you became head coach at Stonehill.
Yeah, I had a great opportunity when Tara went to her alma mater at BU, and I talked to Tara about this position, and she spoke so highly about the school and about the position, and so she said, that was a place that I could have stayed forever, and it really has, being here has only validated what she said. I think it's an amazing place, and it's really people driven. And so I can see why Tara felt that way. And I feel the same way being here. So I feel really fortunate to have landed here. And so it was a great opportunity at a great spot.
Great. Why don't you just give folks like the quick elevator pitch on Stonehill as an academic institution, as well as its strong support for athletics?
Yeah, it's I think the balance of academics and athletics here is amazing. And so just in terms of academics, it's such an outstanding education with different over 100 different areas of study, which is phenomenal. It's really, in terms of the community, it's really people driven and relationship first. And so having that background and having that as kind of the backbone of this place makes it really special and picks it up out of the pile.
Gotcha. And they are investing in athletics in particular. Currently, I believe you play at a Bridgewater Arena, which is what is behind me on my screen background. But there is going to be a new Skyhawk Center, thanks to Tom and Kathleen Bogan. I believe they're naming the arena after them. So maybe just give folks a little bit of background on the investment into hockey and basketball, because I believe it's going to be a shared facility.
Yeah, so there's a ton of enthusiasm around campus, and that's not just in the athletic realm, but really across campus, between the student body, the administration, both athletic and in general. It's really amazing to see such a push for the growth of both women's and men's hockey here. And so we got a gift last year from Tom and Kathleen Bogan of $15 million. And so it's going to be a $65 million facility that's going to house both hockey and basketballs here, which is phenomenal. It'll really be the spine of the building will overlook on one side hockey and overlook basketball on the other side. So really excited about that. I think the fundraising has been going great. And so hoping to get shovels in the ground this academic year. There's no official timeline yet, but really, really excited about that. I know this sounds so corny, but my feeling is that joining Stonehill women's hockey right now is like stepping on a rocket ready for launch. So it's an exciting time here for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, and so since you got there, you've had to kind of reorganize the staff, and maybe just talk about, you have a new coach who just came on recently. You have Kendall and Aaron who's been helping you out with the goaltenders. Maybe just talk about all the different folks on your coaching staff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a head coach, even as an assistant, I didn't sleep that much during the season. I would say I probably sleep if even less now. But a lot of caffeine is very helpful. It's been amazing. I think one of the things that has been really helpful to me in transitioning to being a head coach is just having great people around me. And so, Kendall is in her third season. We've been doing this thing together since I got here, and she's done a tremendous job. A great mentor, really cares about the players, and just does a really good job, and also is a support to me too. One of my friends in coaching always says the most important decision that you can make is who you hire, and I really feel good about the hires that we've made here. So Kendall being the first, and then having Erin Conley join has been tremendous. She played at BC, so I guess birds of a feather. But it's been great to have her here. She's a doer. She gets things done, and she has an unbelievable personality that she really connects with the players, and in a great sense of humor too. So it's just been really great to have these two on board here, and working with them has been an experience already.
Perfect. And so now Aaron Frankel, who helps you with the goalies, is not your first goalie coach because you've already started creating your own coaching tree. Because Joe Grossman was your first goalie coach, and now he's the head coach at Assumption. So maybe just talk about the goaltenders and how that's kind of all worked out.
Yeah, so we are super excited to have three goalies this year. The past 2 years, it's insane that this happened once, but the fact that it happened twice is actually the most insane thing that has ever happened in my 17 years of coaching. But last year, so 2 years ago, Eve Stone, because of injuries and other things, was the only goalie for the lion's share of the season, which was a little. I can't believe I'm not gray actually because of it. And then last year, something similar happened where Alexa Karen was the only goalie for some of the season. And so again, can't believe that I'm not even bald at this point. But they both tremendous tandem. Excited to have them here, and now we've added Nicole Shum to the group, and she's been tremendous so far. Has an unbelievable attitude, works her tail off every single day. So we've got a great goaltending group. So yeah, we had Joe Grossman, who worked with our goalies in that first year, and he was just a tremendous asset. Again, just a stand-up human who I'm so lucky to call him friend. We still talk all the time, and so I'm happy for him and what he's doing at Assumption. And then Erin Frankel came in last year. She is probably going to be very busy this year between the PWHL and the Olympics. So, just not sure how much she's always going to be here for our goaltenders, but just making sure that we have somebody who's gonna be around and really, really take care of them while Erin is competing for our country.
So I just got a question about Joe. How happy were you that his team actually did pretty well against you last year? Like, was that really that happy for him, or well, happy kind of, except for when you're playing us?
Joe, he always has to stick it to me. No, Joe is awesome. I am really happy for him that he did so well last year. And coaching is tough, but it's we're competitive and we're collaborative. So I'm happy for him, but obviously we'd like to take it to him this year.
Yeah, just so folks understand, he beat you guys straight up once and twice in overtime, if I got the numbers correct. So, so that actually affected you getting to a 500 season last year.
Tired of spending hours emailing coaches with no idea if they're even reading your messages? Champs App Messaging is here to change that. Champs App Messaging is the fastest, easiest way to connect with coaches, cutting your email time by more than 50%. You'll know exactly when your emails are opened, And avoid common mistakes with smart templates that pull info directly from your Champs app profile. With Champs app messaging, you can send personalized emails to women's and men's hockey coaches in seconds, without the hassle of copy-pasting or searching for contact info. Our built-in templates automatically fill in the coach's name, email, and key details from your profile, ensuring every message is accurate and complete. And all your sent messages? Tracked in one easy-to-manage place. Save time by storing your best emails as personal templates. No more rewriting or digging through old messages. Wondering if a coach opened your email? With tracking, you'll know when and how often your message was read, giving you valuable insight into their interest. One parent told us, "What used to take a whole evening now takes under 2 hours." Another said it was exciting to know a coach actually read the email. If you're sending 10 or more emails, Champs app messaging will save you time, reduce errors, and give you real recruiting insight into team interest throughout your journey. Ready to make recruiting easier? Try Champs app messaging for free. Just log into your Champs app account today.
All right, let's move on. So actually talking about your team, you had a great first year as coach. You won 21 games, building off the successful season that Tara had done the first year. And you won the New High. You won the whole conference and got to go to the national playoffs. Unfortunately, you lost to Cornell in that first game. Yeah, maybe just talk about the progression of the team. It's my understanding that only about half your players are still with the team from your first year. So about 11 out of 22. So that are going to be seniors this year. So maybe just talk about where the team is at right now.
Yeah, so it's awesome to have that group, that senior class this year, the inaugural first year class of Stonehill women's hockey. It's really awesome to see them in this leadership role now, and all of them are really tremendous in that respect. And so we really expect them to steer the ship this year, and they know how to win. And now we want to prove that 2 years ago wasn't a fluke. It's something that we want to make sure that we're contending for a championship every year. So that experience was great, and I think we learned a lot. I also think that last year we learned maybe even more than we did in that first year that I was here. Just in terms of the ups and downs of the season and the things that we had to change for this year. So I think having both of those experiences have led us to a place where we're ready this year, and where practices have been going great so far. Who knows? There's a lot of uncertainty in terms of how games will go. But that's the fun of this whole thing is building something together so that we can celebrate something together. And those celebrations are not just championships. Those celebrations are when somebody does something so well at practice, or people start really playing together and doing their job so that we have success Monday to Thursday that we expect will lead to success on Friday and Saturday.
Nice. So the last episode, we had Allison Kumi just talking about starting up the Delaware program and how she recruited all the 22 players that were starting with her. Maybe just talk about kind of some of the attrition that you've had, which is obviously going to be expected for a new team. That the 11. I tried to research where the 11 players went that actually left. Early. Let's just say, and I saw one player was an exceptional player and went to a top 10 team, and it seemed like most of the other players either stopped playing hockey or kind of moved out of Division One. What's your perspective on kind of just that natural attrition that you get during the first 4 years of a new program?
Yeah, I mean, I think the transfer portal is a real thing. I think it's something that I'm not against the transfer portal. I think that there are good reasons that it exists, and I also hope that we try to teach our players that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so having people say, you know what, this is really hard, but I'm growing and I'm going to get better is, I think, a really good thing and a really good lesson. And so that's what we hope. We hope that people come here and want to stay at Stonehill. I understand that doesn't always last, or it's not always the case. And so obviously we always wish those well who go elsewhere. And I want to see them succeed. I love all of the players that I'm privileged enough to coach. But I do think, some of the players were recruited by Tara and some of the players were recruited by me. That makes no difference to me whatsoever. every single one of them I care for, and I want to help develop, and I want to help them achieve their goals. And that's what's really important to me. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, 100%. I just wanted to get your perspective on, like as a coach who has to then find either replacements or, choose to upgrade, whatever, however it works. I just wanted to get your perspective on that. So let's talk about this upcoming season. So we're recording this before your first game, but it'll come out after your first exhibition game against your alma mater, Boston College. Maybe just talk about, like you mentioned it before with 11 seniors, you're hoping for a good year. What are your expectations for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the unique things about being at Stonehill is we have a chance to contend for a championship year in and year out. And that's really our goal. That's our expectation that we put on ourselves as coaches and as a coaching staff. And in addition to that, I think that's the vision. That's where we want to go, but we have to figure out how we're going to get there. And how we get there is what we do every single day on and off the ice. And that's at practice. That's every drill that we choose to do and the reasons why we do it. It's also every rep within every drill. It's giving feedback. And, again, we talked about building something before. We're building every single day. And so the expectations for this season, of course, we want to win the Nuha and play in the national championship or in the national tournament again. But that's where we want to get to. We're paving that path to get there now every single day.
Gotcha. So one thing that's interesting is that your non-conference schedule is pretty tough. I know BC is just an exhibition game, but you're going to be in Nashville for Thanksgiving, and you're playing Mercyhurst and Wisconsin, and you're very familiar with the Wisconsin from last year. And then you also added Princeton and Syracuse. So those are going to be some tough games for your out-of-conference schedule. Any strategy to that?
Yeah, I think playing BC in an exhibition or regular season too, but playing BC in an exhibition at the beginning of the year is always a really good test. I think we learn a ton about our team in that exhibition game, and it gives us video to work with and video to teach with, and so that's going to be super useful and really helpful to us. And then in terms of our out of conference play, spreading it out in terms of playing different teams from different conferences is something that we've tried to do in the past. We wanted to go to Nashville because Sid Russell, who is our senior captain this year, is from Nashville, and coming from that market, I think would be amazing, and we thought would be amazing for her to be able to play down there. So we wanted to make this happen for her. And so I guess we're kind of making it a Stonehill tradition to play against the national champion from the year before. That wasn't intentional. It's just that we wanted to go to Nashville, but I think it's a really good opportunity for our players to see what they can do and to see what the rest of the country is doing too. So I think that it gives us a great opportunity.
Gotcha. Well, at least you can have a great Thanksgiving, and I'm sure all the families of the players are going to appreciate being in Nashville for Thanksgiving. So that's got to be nice. All right, let's move on to the Nuha. And so I kind of mentioned this right before we started recording. I've been somewhat critical of the strength of Nuha against the out of conference game teams. And last year I believe the number was almost like 10-1 in terms of goals of the non-conference versus Nuha teams, is about 240 to 26 goals. And unfortunately you were on the wrong end of that a couple of times, I believe. So I'm just curious. I've been tracking the Nuha for almost 5 years, and I understand it's an up and coming conference, and they're still developing, but after 5 years, it's still a huge challenge for any of the teams to beat a non-conference opponent. And why is that? Is it money? Is it scholarships? Is it academics, facilities? God forbid it should be the coaches. Why is it that Nuha struggles so much against non-conference teams?
Yeah, I think in terms of where we're at as a league and as a conference, we're growing, right? So there are growing pains that we are all going through for sure. And I'm not making excuses. This is just the reality of the situation. And so in terms of having those growing pains, I think, we're going through it right now. I do think that the NUHA continues to get better. I also think that we have to continue to find ways to keep those players in the NUHA, and that's been a little bit of a struggle. But those players who go off and they have success at top 10 programs and whatnot, we have to find ways to keep them here, and so that we can continue to grow. But I truly believe in what the NUHA is doing, and in the path that we're on. We obviously need to continue to get better, and I do believe that that's what we're doing now.
So you would understand this better. I'm not asking a question specifically about Stonehill, but like, do the NUHA schools give like the full amount of scholarships? I won't say the school, but I know there's at least one that would not give more than a 50% athletic scholarship to any player. And so that makes it really hard to get the best players. Like, are the NUHA teams competing just even at the athletic scholarship level versus the other conferences?
I think it's really dependent on the school. I think again that's one of the growing pains that we're going through, and finding ways to get to what was, it used to be fully funded at 18 scholarships, but getting somewhere close to there is what I think we're all trying to do. I don't know exactly what the breakdown is, or who has what, but I do think that that is one of the growing pains that that definitely holds us back a little bit. The world is expensive, living is expensive, and the exchange rate between Canada and the US, it's tough, so I think those are some of the things that we're up against, but I think we're fighting valiantly, and just continuing to get better as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, and do you think facilities make a difference? I mean, obviously Sacred Heart has, like, the gold standard of what new facilities should look like, and hopefully you guys, will get close to that when you have your new arena. But you look where some of the lower ranked NUHA teams are, and they're sharing facilities. They aren't on campus. They're just like local rinks. Do you think that makes a difference in the recruiting process?
No question about it. No question about it. And I think, that's one factor in this whole thing, but it does matter when a player is going to a place that has all the bells and whistles, and then, looking at a place like Bridgewater, it does make a difference for sure. And that's why obviously we're trying to get a new facility, but there are other things that pick programs up out of the pile. And so that's what we try to focus on. That sheet of ice is that sheet of ice, and we get a chance to compete every single day, and to develop every single day, and to play as a team every single day. And that can't be traded for anything, regardless of what the walls of the building look like.
All right. Okay, cool. I'm with you. So let's move on to recruiting. In my tracking of 26, 27 players, it looks like you have 10 recruits already committed. I may not have them all, because you probably will have at least 11 openings, considering that you have 11 seniors, but maybe some of them have a redshirt year in there that I'm not aware of, or a post-grad year. And so far, I haven't seen any for 27, 28. Maybe just talk about where you're at in your recruiting cycle, and then we'll generalize it more of what the heck is going on for the 27, 28s. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, we want to balance out our classes as much as we can, but having 18 in that first year class, that inaugural class, it's now at 11. It's still a massive class, and so we really got on the road last year and worked hard to be able to fill the shoes of those seniors, which is not an easy thing to do. And so we're really looking forward to those players coming in for sure. Obviously not looking past this season, but in terms of recruiting, we all have to. But excited for that group, and I think just having people again who want to be at Stonehill, who are really intrinsically motivated, who are driven, who want to get better every day. I think that makes a really big difference for our team and our program. And again, I think we have a chance to make some waves, and to contend for a championship every year. So having players who want to compete, and who know how to win, or who are willing to do the things that it takes to win is one of the things that we often look for.
Gotcha. And so, are you still, looking to fill positions for the 27, the class of 2027? Like, where are you at with that? And how are you competing against these other schools who are being very aggressive with those top players?
Yeah, I think, yeah, we absolutely are still looking for 27s, and, I think we're in a solid place. You know, it's, the summer is a race in some ways to see as much as you can and see as many players as you can, and then get on the phone with them to understand them and what they're looking for, just to find the right players and the right people to bring into our program and who want to be here. And so, we are definitely still looking for 27s, and, we feel good about the ones who have come for visits. Really excited about them. But yeah, I think it is kind of wild how quickly people started to commit this year. But it's always different. Every class seems like it's a little bit different.
So, what's your perspective on why? We're right in the middle of September right now. My math has us at almost double the number of recruits that have publicly announced their commit so far compared to last year. So that's like we're at like 140 compared to like 70 at this point last year. Why do you
Mm.
think both schools are being so aggressive and players are being so quick to make decisions?
You know what? I think we have to do some research in order to really understand it. I don't know the answer to that question, but if I were to speculate, I think, you know, I think part of it could be that people see that their friends or their teammates or the people they play against are committing in different places. And once that domino effect starts happening, then I think, and this isn't necessarily a good thing, but I think people start saying, "Oh my goodness, like I need to commit," or you see the post online of the commitments, and you start saying, "Oh my goodness, the pressure's on. I need to make my decision now." Where I think players can take their time and make sure that they're making the right choice. It's such a big decision, and to be really convicted about that decision is really, really important. And so I think that it might be a little bit of a domino effect, and feeling the pressure and worrying about how many spots are there, or that sort of thing can really affect a player's mindset as they go through this really stressful process. And so I think that that could play a role in it for sure.
And are you aware that some schools have been giving exploding offers, basically telling potential candidates that here you have 24, 48, whatever it is, a very limited amount of time to make a decision, and if you don't, we're going to move down our list. Are you aware of that, and what's your perspective on that?
I have heard those things. And I'm not here to cast judgment, but I can say that for me, because it is such a big decision, it's to me, it's important that a player makes their decision based on their timeline when they are convicted about the decision that they're making. And so we'll probably lose recruits because of that. But at the end of the day, to me, I really want to do due diligence for I want to give players the opportunity to make those decisions because they want to, when they want to, and when they're ready to, not because I told them that they have 5 days or 5 hours or 5 minutes to make that decision.
Gotcha. All right. Do you think that this is good for women's college hockey, that it's so accelerated? I know it kind of feels like it's not for teams like yours, that it's not really an even playing field.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think we're gonna find out over the course of time. And again, we talked about the transfer portal a bit earlier. I hope that people find their homes and they stay at their homes. I realize that's not the reality of our situation. There's gonna be people in the transfer portal for sure, for a variety of reasons. But I do hope, one of my experiences having been a player at the same place for 4 years is that I have friendships that will last a lifetime. And I am so fortunate. We have a group text of over 20 people, and it's called Geriatric Birds. And, like those are my people. They showed up for me during some of the hardest times in my life, and they show up during the best times in my life too. And it's my hope that we can build that here at Stonehill. And I hope that players can find their homes and find their people.
Perfect. All right. Nice to see that kind of traditional way of looking at the process and saying, "Hey, we're looking for players who want to be here for 4 years," because that's the way players should be doing. Because they should be getting an education and they should get some consistency in their academics as well. So, um, just last couple of questions. What is it that you look for when you're evaluating players, both on the ice and off the ice, when it comes to recruiting?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first thing that always stands out to me is skating, and that incorporates a whole bunch of different skills and abilities. So with a defenseman, their lateral mobility, similar to a forward, their lateral mobility, their ability to separate themselves with separation speed or things like that. I think the first thing that we notice is skating ability. From there, how they handle pucks and if plays die with them or if plays continue with them. I think that's a big one too. I always try to decipher between what's coachable and what's not coachable. And so, finding if a player overhandles the puck, well, that's a coachable thing. I can help them with that. And we can help them to underhandle the puck, or we can help them to do different things within their game. But if it's something that's a little less coachable, speed is tough. Once you get strong and your mechanics are down, it's really hard to get faster. So your speed might be your speed for the most part. It's not going to change that much. So we try to look for things that are coachable versus not coachable when we're recruiting and evaluating talent. I think second efforts are a massive piece of this too. And so if a player just gets really frustrated and gives up on a play, skates back to the bench with their head down, or doesn't skate hard to the bench, those are all little things that really make a big difference. I think, going palms up, that's never a good sign, no matter how frustrated you are, because you're going to get frustrated. It's sports. Like things are not going to go your way at times. But how you react in those moments and how you act in those moments, I think can tell a lot about your uh, mental toughness and your ability to be resilient. And I think those are things that we pay attention to.
Perfect. All right. So that's some great insight into your evaluation process. All right. Last question. What recruiting advice do you have for, let's just say, 2026 who haven't found a home, 2027s who are in the process, and even 2028s who are getting ready to prepare for next year's June 15th timeline?
Yeah. Run your own race. It's such a big decision, and it is going to affect the rest of your life. And that's not to put pressure on you, but it's actually to say, hey, you can take your time and make this decision and find the place um that makes the most sense for you. I think, I hear some coaches say, go where you're wanted. Some youth and club coaches, high school coaches say, go where you're wanted, go where you're going to play and make a difference. And I think there is some truth in that. I think there are players, and I was one of them who said, I just want to play Division 1. I just want to play Division 1. I just want a chance to be on the team. I'll fight and I'll compete and I'll earn every minute of playing time that I get. And that I believe people when they say that. I believe people in the recruiting process when they say that. And it is much different to say that during the recruiting process than when you're actually living that every single day. It's really hard. It's really hard. And so find a place where it's the culture that you want, where you feel like you can not just fit in, but actually grow and get pushed out of your comfort zone. Because that's what this thing is all about, is to be able to develop and grow and be better after your first year, after your second year, and continue that path. So when you leave, you're actually a more enhanced version of yourself than you were when you got there. And not just as a player, but as a leader, as a person, as a teammate, as a citizen of the communities that you belong to.
Perfect. Wow. Nice. Thanks, Lee-J.
Thanks, Rick.
All right. We got to wrap this up. So really appreciate you taking the time. Wishing you the best of luck with the upcoming season. Appreciate you giving us the update on Stonehill, what's going on with your team, having a conversation about the new conference, and obviously some outstanding recruiting insights and advice. So thank you so much for doing this, and good luck with the season.
Thank you so much, Ray. This was awesome again, and really appreciate you having me on.
It was great having Lee-J back on the podcast. She had some great insights into the recruiting process and player evaluation. You can connect with Lee-J on the Stonehill website or via her Champs app profile. Links to both are in the show notes.